I experienced my first out-of-body experience. Maybe some would say near-death experience. Yeah, we're starting. I'm joined with my dog, Mally. She's here as a grounding. She's here as a companion. She's here as a reminder. Yeah. Up. Up. Yes. Good. It's hard to talk about because I'm still trying to understand it, and to speak it into existence is to understand it. So, when I left my body, the main thing I could remember is loops, is a circle. I saw a circle. I saw myself in the circle. I saw myself as the circle. Like I could feel myself rolling in this circle. And then immediately I was a dot. I was like a line almost. Like everything inside of one little small, like this, the most smallest thing you could even think of. I was that. I was just that small. I was so tiny in a singular point. And then in another moment, I was everything. Like the very, very next moment, I was literally everything. I was almost like when you breathe in, and you feel your lungs fill up, and you feel your lungs fill up with this capacity to the point where everything is coming in inside of you, and then you exhale, and everything feels like it's pushing outwards. Like every part of you wants to be in each corner of the room. And just imagine that, where every time you breathe in, you become one. And then you breathe out. You're everything. And that was my out-of-body experience. And that happened to me for about 4 hours, maybe, I don't know how long it was. I have reference points in time. I can almost give you a play-by-play of everything that was happening to me in this physical world, in this body, but my mind was somewhere else. It was not here. It was gone. And I did have a companion as well, not my dog, but my brother was also witnessing these things with me. And we were not on this earth. We were not here. We were never here. That was the when you understand that you were never here because you were always here. You were never gone because you were always gone. being in and being out. That's why it was almost like breathing for me was grounding at that moment, because it was like a reminder that everything is. And it doesn't make any sense. And I could explain this to you for hours, and to me it would make perfect sense, but especially when we don't remember, it doesn't make any sense. The feeling that I got was that it was so clear to me, the truth of everything. The truth of everything was so clear to me that I understood why we had to forget, because if we remembered, we wouldn't enjoy this life. This life would be nothing. It would mean nothing. It would be meaningless if we remembered, right? But the ability of us not knowing, the ability of us being in the dark, of being in the now, is the journey. And we come back to the beginning, really, when we feel the end. Like when you breathe, you come back to the beginning when you feel the end of your breath. And you feel like you're, to an extent, losing your mind because you're trying to figure out which came first. What did you start doing first? Did you start breathing first? Or inhaling first? Did you start exhaling first? And then you realize it doesn't matter because you always did it, right? Like, you don't think about breathing. It doesn't matter which came first because you are doing it now. And you realize that's what life is. Like, it's just that. It's the experience. It's the ability to be able to be and to not be. That understanding of, if you weren't, then you wouldn't be able to experience. And now that you are, you have the ability to experience. Most people go through life without that knowing, and they get lost in the game. It's like that, to that point to where if you are damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? And because both ways of life is life. Nothing is wrong with the other, right? They're both life. They're both living. Some people, when they live, they want to live and experience harder than others experience, because some people don't understand that that is what we are here for. That's what we are here to experience. And there's a lot of shame that comes with experiencing this life, and that shame is not a bad thing. The shame comes from within. The shame is something that we take as shame, but really that shame is just that experience of what we choose to live, our truths that we choose to live. When you have people that are different than others and just plain different, they are afraid to show that, because now that means that they have to somehow do this with alone, or do this experience solo dolo, to where now they don't have anyone to experience it with, to enjoy with. So as we go through life and we do things like our hobbies and our prayers and our religions and our jobs, we understand that we chose this. We chose this for a reason. We are here for a reason, and that reason is to experience this. There were a lot of moments where I felt like I was at the beginning of time and I was at the end of time. I remember that, like, understanding that the beginning of time and the end of time are the same place. That piece of knowledge there is still getting, like, the beginning of time and the end of time are the same place. When you understand breathing in and out, when you understand yin and yang, when you understand 0 and 1. You cannot have darkness without the light, and vice versa. And a lot of people, they will feel like the world is telling them that they're crazy. And those same people will look at the world and say, we are all crazy. Right? In the sense of, we made this world. We made this world with us in mind. So everything that we do it's literally us playing a sick joke on us. It's hilarious. I'm laughing right now thinking about it, especially with all this alien shit, all this UFO shit. Look, listen, imagine this. We are tripping balls in space, right? And you were like, man, it would be hilarious. It would be so fucking hilarious. What would be so funny is if we literally start at the start of the race, right? Right at the start of the race, when the race starts, what if we went back in time and then just started playing jokes on us the entire race? And we won't figure out that it's us until we get to the end of the race, until we're like halfway, and then we realize, oh, it's me. That's the joke. And then I start playing jokes on myself. That is how I see UFOs and aliens. How we feel like we are so distant and so disconnected from this other worldly being that it was us all along. We just have a sense of humor. And that is it. It's just us having fun with ourselves, right? In the sense of, because I've been hearing about aliens for years. Like, years, man, since I was a kid. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares. I'm 25 years old. Yeah, no one cares. We hear that shit every day. We see that shit all the time. We watch Avengers. We grew up with that. No one is surprised there's aliens here. Like, and it isn't that we don't care. It's more so the fact that, what do you think? Duh, right? Like, of course there are other beings in this enormous existence that we are experiencing and expressing ourselves in, and we are just a small, minute lint in an ocean that's in the bottom of a well that's on the back of a whale. Like, that's how small we are compared to this experience, right? But you have to understand how important you are as well, because without you experiencing that, where would that fun be? Where would we get that spark from? That happiness. I know when I see my dog, when I see my Malinois enjoying life just in general, whether she's sleeping like she is now, or whether she's having fun and being jovial in the winter time in the snow, that just seeing her happy and seeing her experience that makes me so happy. Makes me happy to know that I can witness that, I can observe that, I can be a part of that, and something greater than that, I can be the cause of that. And so we realize that we've all been. That's all there's ever been, is us. That's all there has ever been. And we feel that love. And we feel that peace. There are doubts, there are fears, there are oppositions. There is that opposing force that you could even identify as hatred, maybe. But we understand that it's a construct. It is all a construct, so we can experience that love is a construct as much as hate is a construct, and that evil is a construct as much as good is a construct. And having the ability to understand the difference between the two is what this experience is for. We are not meant to have this knowledge. We are not meant to know this. We are meant to go through life and experience life. We don't need to know these things. There's no reason for us to know what the purpose of life is, because we will experience life one way or another. Life will smack you on the bottom when you come out of that womb. We will experience this. There is no reason to understand other than wanting to understand. And once you realize that everything is, and you allow yourself to be, and you allow yourself to exist, and you allow yourself to feel, you allow yourself to breathe, that's the true essence that meditation, that true trance where everything is going on at the same time, but at the same time nothing is going on because you're everywhere and nowhere. And that was my out-of-body experience.